Okay, so today's video is all about bags for the Himalayan. Tank bags, tail bags, trail packs, and backpacks. Hey everyone, and welcome back. So what I wanted to do for this video is walk you guys through my personal experience experimenting with different types of carrying bag solutions for the Himalayan. Now obviously I've got the panniers on the bike, that has a lot of storage space, but what I found, especially when I went to Colorado, was I've got a lot of stuff and I like to be really organized and I like everything to kind of have its place. And so I've been experimenting with different ways of carrying certain parts of my travel kit or other supplies and trying to see what works best. So I'm going to walk you through 4 things that I have either experimented with or I'm currently using and tell you my impressions of those particular solutions. So what I've got here is the Mosko Moto Nomax tank bag, which I'll tell you all about and how I use it. Here I've got the OBR ADV Tail Bag, which you'll see fits perfectly on the Himalayan and is a really great solution for carrying spare tire equipment. And then over here, I've got a front bag called the TrailPack. It's made by Viaterra. This is the version 1 pack. I think they just came out with version 2. But you get 2 packs when you order it, so you actually get 1 for each side, and they come direct from India. And then on my back, I've just got a very old school, probably a 15-year-old Golite day pack, which is what I use when I go on day hikes, or incidentally what I use when I take a lot of rides just around town here, because I just like carrying a backpack. It's very natural for me. So I use this a lot more than you probably expect, considering I have all these other solutions here as well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with the tank bag because I think it's actually the most fascinating. So let's do that first. Okay, so what you're looking at here is the Mosko Moto Nomax tank bag. It is not a cheap bag. I think I paid 200 bucks for it. And I was really on the fence about whether or not I wanted to use a tank bag, just because I wasn't sure if it was gonna be too much of an obstruction in front of me. But I've really come around on it, and particularly this bag, I really like, especially because it does have so much sorting capability. There's like dozens of compartments in this thing where you could actually move things around and sort things to your needs. So what I like is that it has multiple large compartments. So starting with the first compartment, there is a beaver tail opening right here on the top. And I really liked this space in Colorado for holding snacks when I was riding. If I just want to put some granola bars in there, I've got a tire gauge, a pencil, some zip ties, a few things I might need really quickly. And I would also put, like my helmet lock in here, and I think I also had some hand sanitizer, things like that. I've had some keys in here, etc. So really great compartment to have, super easy access to. You just Velcro and it's open. You move in the next compartment and you are just bombarded with multiple zippered compartments, and most of this is empty now because I've taken everything out of it, but you have multiple compartments here. I think I had my Parks Pass, I had some Ziploc baggies. Up here I've got a little multi-tool for in case I need extra wrench. Over here I've got some extra earplugs, some hand sanitizer and chapstick. Down here I've got some of those wipes that I was telling you about in a previous video. There's some space up here for pencils or pens or other writing utensils, etc. You get into the next pocket and there's an entire compartment on this side, which I think in here right now, I've emptied so much of this out. I've got a couple of the lock sack bags. I've got some more zip ties. When I was in Colorado, every one of these packs had something in it related to the trip. Up here, got a microfiber cloth, and then in this compartment here, I've got a emergency poncho, a battery backup, a very small emergency first aid kit. And the reason I have that up there, in addition to the one that's under my back seat, is because if I needed a quick access to a small first aid kit, the one under my seat was buried under all my bags. So just having something at hand's reach was very crucial. And then I have a tiny little grocery bag in here that I use when I would go get groceries. I think I had a lot of my GoPro equipment in this tank bag is what was taking up a lot of these front compartments, batteries and things like that. There's a compartment here for sunglasses. It's got microfiber in it. I think you could also actually probably fit a drone in here. I mean, there's a lot of space. There's a space over here for contact lenses. This little poofy pouch at the top is actually the rain cover, which you can access through this zipper pouch here, and then it comes out and it covers the entire tank bag. So you actually have an integrated rain fly as well. And then in the very back pouch here is where you have your 2 liters hydration bladder. What's really amazing about this tank bag is if you pull these straps out, you hook these little D-rings down to the bottom, and now you've got a backpack. So I can pick this up, and it's not the most comfortable backpack, but it definitely works. And so you essentially have that backpack if that's what you like and you want to be able to carry your stuff around, you don't want to leave it on your bike. Take it off, carry it as a backpack. And now as you can see on the front, I've got this additional clear pouch, which I've got my maps in, and I always carry my InReach in here as well. I really love this bag. I can't say enough great things about it. So well done, Mosko Moto. I really do like this bag. It's expensive, but you get what you pay for. So moving on. So the next bag I want to show you is this OBR ADV gear bag. I think I paid something like 60 or 70 bucks for it. And what really attracted me to this bag was the size and the shape. It basically fits and matches perfectly to the standard small rear rack on the Himalayan. And what I wanted to use this bag for was to carry all of my tire equipment. So spare tubes, pumps, everything I would need to change a tire. Let me show you exactly how I've got this thing laid out so you can see why I decided to go with this bag. It's a really nice little bag. I've got a rag on the top. I've got a couple of rim strips here. I've got a bead buddy, and then I've got my pump, and then the 2 tubes, some nitrile gloves, and then a tire gauge if I need it. So this is everything I need to replace or repair a damaged tire. Some of you might be looking at this and thinking, you don't need to carry all of this with you if you're just tooling around town, and that's very true. I probably don't need all of this stuff if I'm just gonna be playing on the back roads around Flagstaff. If I'm going to Colorado and if I'm doing a multi-day or multi-week adventure trip, yeah, I might want to bring spare tubes. But if I just put heavy-duty tubes on the bike anyway, I might even just be able to get away with carrying a small patch kit like this. So this is my other solution. This is just a small patch kit that works perfectly well and what I've been carrying around town so that I don't have to carry all of this. Okay, so this is the TrailPack. I picked this up a couple months ago. It came as a set, one for each side. It was relatively inexpensive. I think they were maybe 50 or 60 bucks for the pair. But what I liked about this pack for the front is that it's not incredibly large. It's much more sleek. I like that it's a roll top as opposed to a zip top, and I like that it's waterproof inside. So it feels more like a backpack to me than it does a little pannier bag. So I'm going to unroll the top and show you what it looks like inside. It's lined, the entire inside is lined with waterproof lining, but it holds a lot. I typically carry things that I need quick access to. If I'm not carrying a tank bag, this is a great place to put a little thermos of water or some snacks or some other things, or possibly tools or tire repair equipment. So this is one of the things that I'm thinking about for the bike in order to store some of that stuff I don't want to put on the back. The other thing I like about this is there's a small zip pouch in the front that you can also put things in. It's a little separate compartment. So this is a really great solution if you want front storage in something that's a little bit lower profile than, say, those big front bags. And finally, there's the backpack. My old trusty backpack. I still probably go on more than half of my rides around town just wearing this because I can put 2 water bottles on the side, throw it on my back, and then if I also want to get off and go for a hike or something, it's just what I'm used to, and it's just so easy and convenient. So a lot of times when I'm going around town, I don't even mess with any of that stuff, and I just bring a backpack. So definitely can't go wrong just throwing on a grungy old backpack. All right, so on the bike, the OBR tail bag does fit perfectly. It sits right on the factory tail rack here, as though it was meant and made for the Himalayan. However, there's a hitch in this plan that I discovered when I went to Colorado. And that hitch has to do with this space here. So when I went to Colorado, I carried a duffel with all my camping stuff. And I wanted to put it across the back seats, but as you can see already, with the tail bag here, it doesn't quite fit. So what I ended up doing was I kind of cinched it down and really squished things together and made it work, but it wasn't ideal. And ultimately what happened was the duffel was pushing up against my back, making my seating position uncomfortable, pushing me up against my tank bag. It wasn't ideal. And so that leaves me with sort of a conundrum of what to do with this equipment. And the way I see it is there's two options. Either I find some sort of extension for the tail rack so that I could essentially move this out. That's one thing I could do, and then that frees up more space, but then this thing is really sitting off the back end of the bike. Or I simply get rid of this bag and put the equipment in this bag somewhere else. But I think this makes for a really good segue into talking about the trail packs up front, because that's one potential place where I could move some of this equipment and carry it on the front of the bike in a different bag, leaving the tail open. So let's go look at the trail pack. So when I went to Colorado this summer, I installed 2 spare fuel canisters on the front of the Himalayan, thinking I would need to carry this much extra fuel to get around the mountains of Colorado. I learned pretty quickly that the Himalayan has a really good range on it, and I never needed more than one of these. I suppose if I was riding around Kazakhstan or something like that, I might need 2, but for where I'm going to be going for all intents and purposes, 1 spare fuel canister is more than enough. So what I decided to do instead was to take one of these off and instead put one of the trail packs on. So let me show you what that looks like. So this is what the trail pack looks like installed on the front of the Himalayan. It's a great way to carry around some extra equipment that you want to keep handy so you don't have to dig through the panniers or through your back bags of any kind. And so what I keep up front here is I keep an extra water bottle, I keep some extra snacks, I just keep things that I might need easy and quick access to depending on where I'm going. Maybe if I'm going to a national park, I keep one of the maps in here, or a pass or something like that. In the front here in this little pouch, I keep my my helmet lock in there, so there's a little zip pouch as well. And I like that it's a roll top as opposed to a zip, so that I can really cinch it down and make sure it's nice and snug. And I don't know, maybe that's the backpacker in me, but I just really like that design. Getting the trail pack installed is actually really simple. There's just an integrated pouch on the back that slides over the front rack on the Himalayan, and then there's just 2 Velcro straps that strap over the back to hold in place. So here's the other trail pack that goes on the other side if I ever want to carry them both. And you can see on the back, here are the 2 Velcro strips. And here's that integrated pouch. So you just take the strips out, you slide this onto the rack, and then you loop this around and reconnect it. And that's how it stays on. And it is solid, it's not going anywhere. I've been using this a lot lately just to carry stuff that I don't want to carry on my back, or if I don't want to carry the tank bag, just to keep things handy. And I absolutely love it. I think it's a great solution. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you on the bike is the tank bag and how it fits. Installing it can be a little bit cumbersome, but one of the things that's really nice is that the hooks that come up here that hook into the bag also hook into each other. And so when you're not using the bag, you can just clip it together and it's out of the way. And I love that. So like 9 times out of 10 when I'm riding, I don't have the tank bag on, I can just clip that together and it's out of sight, out of mind. So when you do want to take the tank bag, you just unclip it, and all you got to do is move the bag into position. And as you can see, I've got a tank pad on there just to protect it from any scratches. Clip it in up top, which I'm going to do right now. Kind of just put it into the position you want. On the side, it's very easy to install and adjust. There's just these 2 ratchet style straps, and I've installed 2 clips onto the frame of the bike. Once it's clipped in, it's just a matter of cinching it down I usually do a cinch on each side just to get it kind of snug. And then once it looks centered, I give it a nice steep cinch, connect the Velcro, and that's it. It's good to go, and it's not going anywhere. I still think this is one of the best tank bags that you can get for the Himalayan, just because there's so much room in it, but it doesn't seem grotesquely large. Okay, well, hopefully some of that was useful and it wasn't too confusing. As you can probably tell, I'm still trying to figure out where to put all my stuff and ultimately what storage solution I'm going to go with for the Himalayan. But what I can tell you is this: all of those bags that I talked about tonight have all been excellent. So you honestly can't go wrong with any of them. So thank you so much for following along. I really appreciate it. Take care out there, whatever adventures you're on. Be safe, and I'll see you in the next video.